This is Richard Leeds, who's the director of The Caller here at Tribeca. Can you tell us briefly what The Caller is about?
Sure. It's about a man who works for a multinational energy consulting company
Mhm.
and decides to turn in his company for its malpractice in various countries.
Mhm.
And in effect, by doing so, you could say commits suicide by whistleblowing. He knows then his death is insured. He then hires a detective over the phone, disguising his voice so that the detective won't know who his client is. Hires the detective to follow someone whose name and address he gives. And the detective, played by Elliot Gould, then begins to follow the man he's been told to follow. And that indeed is what the audience realizes is that he's now been paid to follow the man who's paying him, that the man is paying to have himself followed, and that's Frank Langella's character.
Mhm.
And in the course of the film, there's a story that develops about two boys in occupied France who are hiding in the woods by themselves. And we gradually learn that those two boys are these two men, and what happens to them in the woods is the reason why, after all these years, upon spotting Elliot Gould, a detective character, that suddenly Frank Langella's character has made this plot, if you will, and set in motion the story of the film.
And it's reminiscent of a lot of great New York psychological thrillers. It reminded me a little bit of Marathon Man. And is there films that you took from that influenced you in the style of this film?
Yes, yeah, I a lot of Hitchcock's films, Rear Window. There's the looking back and forth. Vertigo as well. The detective figure of Jimmy Stewart, who's a retired police officer, as is Elliot Gould's character. Blow Up a bit, Antonioni's Blow Up. The when you're in Central Park and the Elliot's there with the camera, and so a lot of films figured in my mind and in working with the different
Talk about
creative
working
team.
with these two fantastic actors in these two parts. I mean, that must have been kind
It,
of
w-
almost a dream come true, I'd
it was
imagine.
great. It was great, and they had great chemistry. You know, the film really depends on them bonding, on them having this relation that goes back to their childhood, and they're both within 6 months of each other, the same age, exactly the age of the two guys in the film, and of course they're two great actors who have lived lives that have a lot of things in common, and so they had met once. Elliot had gone up to Frank at the premiere of Good Night and Good Luck and told Frank Langella how much he loved his performance, and so there was a good feeling between them,
Mhm.
and but they had never really had any other meeting, and they just bonded very quickly, and I mean the story of the film is clearly one that laid the groundwork for them to have
Yeah.
that kind of trust, and they were great to work with. Frank was doing Frost Nixon at the same time, so Frank really up front asked me a lot of questions. He knew he had to front load his preparation. That he wasn't going to have the luxury of every day having a long discussion with me. That we did get together and talk every day before he went on the set.
And what did he need? What kind of questions did he ask?
He really wanted me. He drilled me about the every aspect of the story. He had ideas about how he wanted to play the character. Wanted to know what I thought about them. What I thought were some of the reasons his character made certain choices, and he really ran me through my paces. I think he wanted to have confidence in me. You know, he knew he would be working on a very tight schedule, doing the Frost Nixon at the same time. He won a Tony Award shortly before we began shooting. So it was important to him that not only was he going to be able to do this well, but that I wasn't going to throw him off his pace, and that we
Right.
would be we would be well organized.
Yeah,
And
and working with two pros that have been doing it for, so long, um, it didn't feel like you needed many takes, maybe, or that you kind of got what you needed. They knew where to take it, or they knew where to go.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. They would have certain questions every day. just to kind of get back into the work. And then it was just a thing of beauty to see two guys with this amount of talent and experience do their work.
What's next for you?
I have a couple projects I'm developing, but nothing specific. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming by. It's great to have you.
Thank you, Mike.